4 months. That's all it took for Olandria to go from a Love Island USA contestant to landing the cover of Harper's Bazaar, Vietnam. We're talking about Nic and Olandria, the couple everyone calls Nicolandria, who finished second on Love Island Season 7. While Cierra was posting cryptic messages from Greece, Olandria was busy becoming an international fashion icon. And trust me, what happened behind the scenes is even wilder than you think. Speaking of wild, if you're into drama that actually leads somewhere, hit that subscribe button. Because unlike some people's careers, this channel is going places. Now let's get into it.
When those Harper's Bazaar Vietnam photos dropped, the internet practically broke. Olandria stood there in a dramatic red romper with a matching cape, her new pixie cut framing her face like she was born to do this. The shoot, photographed by Stanley Babb, captured something that felt both timeless and groundbreaking at the same time. She dubbed it Olavember on her social media, and honestly, the name fits. This wasn't just another influencer getting a photo shoot. This was a statement. The editorial screamed old Hollywood glamour mixed with modern edge. Every single shot showed Olandria in high fashion pieces that most reality TV stars wouldn't even dream of touching for years. But here's where it gets interesting. She didn't just show up and let some random team style her. Olandria brought her own people, her hairstylist, her makeup artist, her styling team, the Reismans. She made sure they were all in those rooms with her, getting credit, getting exposure, getting paid. That's the kind of move that separates someone who's chasing fame from someone who's building an empire. Back in August, Olandria tweeted something that now feels prophetic. She said if she could model full-time, a traditional job would never see her again. At the time, people probably thought it was just another influencer dream. But now, she's literally living it. From the VMAs to New York Fashion Week, from the CFDA Awards to Glamour's Women of the Year, this girl has walked every major red carpet like she owns the place. And maybe she does.
Before Harper's Bazaar even happened, Olandria had already made waves with Alexander Wang. She showed up at his Spring 2026 show during New York Fashion Week, sitting front row with Nickerson by her side. The photos from that night went absolutely viral. She wore this structured blazer with a matching miniskirt and crystal-embellished heels, all in black leather that screamed expensive taste. But that wasn't even the biggest part. Sources close to the situation revealed that Olandria secured a deal with Alexander Wang that included a campaign shoot. While the exact numbers haven't been officially confirmed, insiders suggested she pulled in serious money for the collaboration. We're talking about a girl who left Love Island USA just months ago, and she's already commanding rates that take most influencers years to achieve. The campaign featured her alongside actor Asher London Williams, and the chemistry in those shots was undeniable. The whole thing went instantly viral, with fashion blogs and major outlets picking up the story within hours.
The team at Alexander Wang reportedly loved working with her. One source mentioned that everyone was impressed by how professional and prepared she was. This wasn't some reality star showing up and hoping for the best. Olandria came ready to work, and it showed. They've already hinted at wanting to collaborate with her again, which in the fashion world is basically like getting a golden ticket. Brands don't bring you back unless you delivered the first time. But here's what makes this even more impressive. While all of this was happening, while she was securing six-figure deals and walking in fashion shows, there was someone else watching from the sidelines. Someone who was probably expecting a very different outcome.
Let's rewind for a second, because you can't understand the magnitude of what's happening now without knowing where it started. Love Island USA Season 7 was messy, like exhaustingly messy. You had drama from day one, couples forming and exploding, and enough plot twists to fill an entire season of an actual scripted show. But the most important storyline, the one that everyone's still talking about, that was Nic, Olandria, and Cierra. Nic started the show coupled up with Cierra. They seemed solid. They closed off their relationship, which in Love Island terms means you're basically exclusive. But anyone paying attention could see something was off. When Cierra jokingly asked Nic if she was his dream girl during a date, his reaction was weird. He laughed it off without answering, and fans immediately picked up on it. That moment became a whole thing online, with people analyzing every facial expression and every pause.
Then Casa Amor happened. For those who don't know, Casa Amor is when the show splits the guys and girls into separate villas and brings in new people to test the relationships. Olandria and Nic, who weren't coupled at the time, ended up as the only two islanders not chosen in the recoupling. They were given a choice: leave the villa or stay together as a couple. They stayed. And that kiss they shared, that was when Nicolandria was officially born. The fan base went absolutely crazy. People had been rooting for Nic and Olandria to get together for weeks, making edits and starting hashtags. The chemistry between them was obvious to everyone, except maybe the two of them at first. But once they finally coupled up, there was no going back. They made it all the way to the finale, finishing in second place, but winning in pretty much every other way that matters. Taylor, another contestant and fellow Southerner, had also been in Olandria's orbit earlier in the season, but the connection with Nic was different. It was genuine, it was fun, and it was exactly what viewers wanted to see. While other couples were playing games or forcing connections, Nicolandria felt real. And that authenticity? That's what carried them through.
Quick pause, because if you're still watching, you're clearly invested in this story. Do me a favor and smash that subscribe button so you don't miss what happens next. Trust me, things are about to get even more interesting. Plus, subscribing is free, unlike those designer outfits Olandria has been wearing. Okay, back to the drama. While Olandria was booking campaigns and walking red carpets, something else was happening online. Cierra, who had been removed from Love Island USA mid-season due to a past social media post containing offensive language, started posting. And not just casual updates. These were pointed, deliberate messages that seemed timed a little too perfectly with Olandria's successes. It started in Greece. Cierra posted a video of herself in Mykonos with the caption about being happier after surviving reality TV and not ending up with the guy who apparently never liked her and wanted her friend the whole time. She set it to audio that said she didn't even get to break up with him before he was already with the next girl. The subtext wasn't subtle. She was talking about Nic and Olandria.
Then there were other incidents. Shady posts here and there, cryptic comments. Nothing direct enough to call out explicitly, but obvious enough that everyone knew exactly what she meant. At one point, there was even a post referencing that old Aqua song, "Don't You Wish Your Girlfriend Was Hot Like Me?" that seemed aimed at a party where Nic and Olandria were photographed together. The timing was suspicious, to say the least. Here's the thing, though. While Cierra was busy crafting these subliminal messages, the internet was moving on. Olandria wasn't engaging. She wasn't responding. She was just working. And that silence, that was more powerful than any clapback could have been. Because while one person was stuck rehashing the past, the other was building a future. The most telling moment came when a major fashion magazine, not naming names, but you can probably guess which one, responded to one of Olandria's red carpet appearances by posting photos set to the exact same song Cierra had used in her shady post. It was indirect, it was subtle, but the message was clear. The fashion industry had chosen a side, and it wasn't Cierra's.
Let's talk about what was really happening while all this drama was unfolding. Because this wasn't just about two people in a love triangle. This was about careers, opportunities, and the reality of what happens when you burn bridges while someone else is busy building them. Olandria didn't just land one major deal. She landed multiple. After Alexander Wang came EOS, the lip care brand that's partnered with everyone from Miley Cyrus to Kim Kardashian. Then there was Danessa Myricks, the celebrity makeup artist and brand owner who started commenting under basically every one of Olandria's posts. Industry insiders started whispering about a collaboration with Pat McGrath, arguably one of the most influential people in the beauty industry. These weren't small wins. These were career-defining moments.
Each announcement seemed to come right when someone else was posting something negative or trying to stir up drama. And you have to wonder if that timing was coincidental or if Olandria's team was strategically rolling out these collaborations to shift the narrative. Either way, it worked. Every time there was an attempt to drag her down or create controversy, Olandria would drop news about another major opportunity. It was like watching someone play chess while their opponent was still trying to figure out checkers. Fashion brands started fighting to work with her, not just reaching out, but actively competing for her attention. That doesn't happen to reality TV stars. That happens to models, actors, and established influencers who've spent years building their reputation. But Olandria managed to skip that entire struggling phase. She went from the Love Island villa to the upper echelons of the fashion world in less than 6 months.
And here's what made it even more impressive. She wasn't just taking any deal that came her way. She was selective. She was building a brand, a specific image that aligned with who she is and where she comes from. The Bama Barbie aesthetic isn't just a cute nickname. It's a whole identity that blends Southern elegance with high fashion. It's approachable, yet aspirational. And brands were eating it up. Meanwhile, the person who had hoped to be part of that world, who had the same starting point, was watching from the outside. Because here's the brutal truth about the influencer industry. Brands care about more than just followers. They care about reputation. They care about how you handle adversity. They care about whether you're going to make their lives easier or harder. And when you spend your time creating drama instead of creating content, when you're more focused on what other people have than what you're building yourself, brands notice and they move on.
Let's step back from the specifics for a second and talk about something bigger. Because what we're witnessing here isn't just about one person's success and another person's struggles. It's about what happens when you tie your happiness to someone else's journey. When your dreams are dependent on another person bringing you along for the ride. Think about it. You go on a dating show hoping to find love, sure, but also hoping to leverage that exposure into something bigger. You couple up with someone who seems like they could be your ticket to that influencer lifestyle. Then it all falls apart. Not just the relationship, but the entire plan. And suddenly you're watching your friend, someone you were close to in the villa, living the exact life you imagined for yourself.
That's heavy. That's the kind of situation that would mess with anyone's head. The constant scroll through social media, seeing magazines, brand deals, red carpets. Every notification is a reminder of what could have been if things had gone differently, if you'd made different choices, if your past hadn't caught up with you at exactly the wrong moment. There's a reason why mental health in the influencer space is such a huge topic right now. The comparison trap is real. When your worth feels tied to likes, comments, followers, and opportunities, watching someone else succeed can feel like you're failing. Even if you're not. Even if you're actually doing fine by any normal standard. It's just that the standard isn't normal anymore. The standard is viral moments and 6-figure deals and magazine covers.
And this is where things get complicated. Because yes, we can have empathy for someone struggling with anxiety and depression and feeling left behind. That's human. That's understandable. But we also have to acknowledge that consequences exist, that the choices you make, the posts you share, the way you treat people, all of that matters. You can't expect brands to overlook controversy just because you're having a hard time. That's not how it works. That's never been how it works. The influencer lifestyle that looks so glamorous from the outside comes with pressure that most people don't see. Olandria makes it look easy, but you can bet she's dealing with her own stress. The difference is what you do with that stress. Do you channel it into work, into building something, into proving people wrong through action? Or do you channel it into resentment, into trying to tear down what someone else has built, into hoping their success will somehow dim so yours can shine?
Here's why this whole situation is about more than just reality TV gossip. What Olandria is doing right now is changing perceptions. Reality TV stars, especially from dating shows, have always been seen as lower tier in the entertainment and fashion worlds. They're influencers, sure, but not the kind that major fashion houses typically court. They're good for sponsored Instagram posts and maybe some podcast appearances, but they don't usually make the jump to legitimate fashion icon status. Olandria is breaking that mold. She's showing that if you have the look, the work ethic, and the intelligence to build a real brand, you can transcend the reality TV label. Harper's Bazaar Vietnam isn't just some random accomplishment. It's a signal to the industry that she's not just a flash in the pan. She's someone worth investing in long term.
Think about the bigger picture here. How many people have appeared on Love Island across all the different versions and seasons? Hundreds? Probably thousands at this point. How many of them have landed on the cover of any edition of Harper's Bazaar within 4 months of their season ending? You can count them on one hand, maybe one finger. This isn't normal. This isn't the expected trajectory. And she's doing it while staying true to who she is. The Southern charm isn't an act. The Bama Barbie persona isn't manufactured for the cameras. It's genuine. And in an industry that's often criticized for being fake and superficial, that authenticity stands out. People can tell when someone's being real versus when they're playing a character. Olandria isn't playing anything. She's just being herself at a very high level.
The representation aspect matters too, though we're not going to get into specific demographics. What we can say is that seeing someone who doesn't fit the traditional fashion model mold succeed at this level opens doors. It changes what casting directors think is possible. It influences which faces brands choose to represent them. It matters for everyone watching who thought maybe this industry wasn't for them. But beyond representation, there's a simpler lesson here. Authenticity wins. Hard work wins. Taking the high road wins. Olandria could have engaged in all the drama. She could have responded to the shady posts and the subliminal messages. She could have made this into a whole back-and-forth situation that would have dominated gossip sites for weeks. Instead, she just kept working. She let her success speak for itself. And that's exactly why she's where she is now.
So where does this story go from here? If the past 4 months are any indication, we're only seeing the beginning of Olandria's career. The Harper's Bazaar cover is huge, but it's not the peak. It's a stepping stone. The question now is whether she can maintain this momentum and turn it into something lasting. The fashion industry is notoriously fickle. You can be the hottest thing one season and completely forgotten the next. But Olandria seems to understand this. She's not just taking every opportunity that comes her way. She's being strategic. She's building relationships with the right people. She's showing up prepared and professional. All of that matters when you're trying to transition from influencer to legitimate fashion figure. Her relationship with Nic, the Nicolandria that fans fell in love with on Love Island USA, is still going strong according to their social media. They're navigating this new life together, attending events as a couple, supporting each other's individual projects. That stability probably helps. When everything around you is changing rapidly, having something solid to come back to makes a difference. There are already hints about what's coming next. The mention of Pat McGrath suggests beauty collaborations might be on the horizon. Her styling team, the Reismans, are clearly invested in her success and had the connections to keep pushing her forward. She's been vocal about wanting to support HBCUs and her community, which suggests charity work and activism might become part of her brand. All of this points to someone thinking long-term, not just chasing the next check.
As for Cierra, that story remains unresolved. She hasn't been silent, but she also hasn't found her footing post-Love Island USA the way some might have hoped. The grease posts and the occasional shade seem to have stopped getting the reaction they once did. People have moved on. The internet is focusing on Olandria's wins rather than Cierra's losses. Whether there will be reconciliation or closure between them, especially with Nic involved, remains to be seen. Reality show reunions exist for a reason, and if one happens, that's where those conversations might finally occur. But honestly, Olandria probably isn't thinking about any of that. She's too busy working, too busy building,
too busy proving that a girl from Alabama who went on a dating show can become an international fashion sensation if she wants it badly enough and works hard enough to make it happen. The transformation we've witnessed over these past months is remarkable. From Love Island contestant to magazine cover star, from reality TV drama to high-fashion campaigns, from being someone's friend who got left behind to being the person everyone wants to work with. It's a masterclass in how to handle success with grace and how to turn opportunity into longevity.
Look, at the end of the day, this story is about choices. The choice to focus on your own path instead of someone else's. The choice to work quietly instead of complaining loudly. The choice to build bridges instead of burning them. Olandria made those choices, and now she's living in Harper's Bazaar and walking for Alexander Wang. Meanwhile, others made different choices and are living with different outcomes. There's no villain here, not really. There are just people dealing with very public situations in very different ways. But if there's a lesson to take away, it's this. Your energy is finite. You can spend it trying to dim someone else's light, or you can spend it making your own light shine brighter. One of those strategies works. The other just leaves you tired and bitter while the world moves on without you.
Olandria's story isn't over. She's 4 months into what could be a decades-long career. But the foundation she's built in this short time is solid. She's shown she can handle pressure, navigate difficult situations, work with demanding clients, and maintain her authenticity through all of it. Those are the qualities that turn a moment into a career, that turn viral fame into lasting influence. So yeah, we've all seen the Harper's Bazaar photos. We've watched the Alexander Wang campaign. We've followed the drama and the shade and the subtle responses. But what we're really watching is someone writing their own story instead of letting others write it for them. And in an industry full of people trying to follow trends, that kind of originality is exactly what gets rewarded.
If you made it this far, you're clearly invested in this journey. Hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications because something tells me we'll be talking about Olandria's career for years to come. And hey, unlike some people's social media presence, this channel actually delivers consistent content. Drop a comment and let me know what you think happens next. Does she become the next big supermodel? Does the drama ever actually resolve? What brand do you want to see her work with next? Let's discuss. The Bama Barbie isn't just a nickname anymore, it's a movement, and we're all just watching it unfold in real time.